school infrastructure such as buildings, classrooms, sport amenities, laboratories, libraries, playgrounds, and equipment all play a crucial role in shaping the quality of education of a child. These public amenities impact the learning environment and the overall development as well as the well-being of a pupil or student. Education and sport are inseparable as they are vital ingredients for overall growth of a child. Hence, sport facilities are necessary setups of a school. Availability and use of these sport features, as well as playgrounds in the basic and post-basic schools, foster valuable life skills, promote teamwork, enhances mental well-being, and contributes to a more vibrant and inclusive school community. The National Policy on Education, which mandates compulsory free universal basic education, stated in Part 1 under Item 4 that every parent shall ensure that his child receives full-time education suitable to his age and ability. The Act supports social impact of sporting activities in schools through the intervention of the Universal Basic Education Commission, a federal government-funded education intervention agency that provides support to primary and junior secondary school education across the 36 states of the Federation, including the Federal Capital Territory. The Universal Basic Education Commission mandate authorizes basic education to include not only academic skills, but also social, moral, and life skills development, such as sport, which would reflect our holistic approach to education. This episode of Leaves and Worms will take you further in the series of our stories on the depth of infrastructure in public basic schools in the Federal Capital Territory, such as the unavailability of sport facilities in the FCT public schools and abandoned playgrounds in local education authority schools. Fundamental to mention is that the 6 local education authorities of the Federal Capital Territory serves as public authority that are recognized by State Educational Department. The local education authorities provide public education services to pupils and students within a specific jurisdiction. These LEAs design and implement education plans, coordinate logistics such as other 774 local government areas across Nigeria. AD4 TV radio store to some public basic schools in Buhari local government area and Kuje area council of the Federal Capital Territory have little to nothing reflecting sport activities for the overall development of the pupils and students in the schools. A short conversation with these students revealed the much of sport amenities available in their schools.
Doing sport activities in our school, but I wish we have like basketball, volleyball, and table tennis in our school. No, we don't have any sports activities in our school, but except the small field for boys who used to play football, then it's nothing again.
The Universal Basic Education Commission, under its Community Empowerment and Development School-Based Management Committee and School Improvement Program, SBMC-SIP, disburses funds directly to SBMCs for the improvement of infrastructure and equipment in the local education authority schools. The essence is to increase access to quality education and achieving equity in the provision of basic education in Nigeria. The Universal Basic Education Commission 2018 National Personnel Audit Report revealed that only 328 playgrounds are available for a total number of 89,119 early childhood care development and education center pupils across the 6 area councils of the nation's capital. The Universal Basic Education Commission disburses 25% support of its funds to selected school-based management committee beneficiary schools recommended after midterm monitoring in the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. These funds are to support school-based development, which includes sport. The 25% is derived from the set-aside 2% Consolidated Revenue Fund, CRF, from the Federation account to support states in the implementation of the Universal Basic Education programs. Despite this commitment of the federal government through the Universal Basic Education Board of the FCT, intervening in the basic education of pupils and students in the area councils towards the development of a child via education and other skills such as sports. The public schools in the FCT still denies the pupils and students the right to gaining mutual benefit presented by education and sport, the two powerful weapons with renowned capacities to change the world. Some education and sports specialists speaks on this.
The state of poor sporting facilities in the FCT public schools is very, very poor. Let me put it that way. Why am I saying this? It might not surprise you to know that apart from a football pitch, most public schools in the FCT do not have any other field for sporting activities. Actually, what is responsible for the state of poor sporting facilities in the FCT is because most school administrators, because of the increase in population, there is need for them to build more classrooms to accommodate the number of those who are seeking for admission. And what that means is that the little space actually meant for sporting facilities will now be converted to classrooms, and in the end it is the students that suffers for this.
On the aspect of the dearth of sporting facilities in FCT schools, actually this is I feel like as a nation, apart from football, we're not really invested in other forms of sports like basketball. I mean, when you even go to certain schools, except the private schools, right? Except when you go to the private schools, you rarely see schools with standard basketball fields. You rarely see schools with standard tennis courts and all of that. Even the so-called football fields that they have, you can't really say that the football fields are standard. You just have somebody just maybe just designate a piece of land and just say, okay, the students can actually be playing here and all of that. So it's really bad. And of what benefits availability of sporting facilities in public schools?
AD4 TV Radio further looked into the root cause of this emerging challenge affecting overall development of a child in basic and post-basic schools in the Federal Capital Territory.
When I was growing up, public schools were better because you have qualified people, you have the good environment, maybe as we got from our colonial masters. But now the quest for wealth, the quest to acquire property has moved distance. You see a land, when I came to Abuja like 20 years ago, you see a lot of green areas. Where are they today? They've been reallocated to the high and mighty, and they're now building structures on it. The same is happening to our schools. All schools have a particular space, the buildings and the sports ground from the onset. But as they civilize, in quotes, what they call civilization, which is destroying our children, they build up these schools, or somebody reallocates that same land to another big man, and the school is now kind of compressed. So there's need for them to revisit the master plan of FCT, for all our public schools to remain how it was when FCT was created. All the land they gave to their, I don't want to name anybody, but the big people, let them retrieve them and let their children have a place to play. Our children, that's why now there are a lot of incidents of obesity, diabetes at young age. No exercise. They go to school, they come back, they face computer, they watch TV, and that is it. No physical exercise.
Sporting issue in the public schools in the FCT, to the extent that the 0%, because there's no any government school apart from football field, a football beach, then there's no any other sporting activities that is going on in the school. I remember some days that most of us that attend public schools, there are so many events happening that if this school is doing inter-house sports, you see the local government and everybody will be involved fully into it. You see so many activities, but nowadays it's not done that way. So to the extent that some private schools are using those opportunities to take students out of the public schools because of sports. And sometimes they used to say that some child may be poor in their heads, but their legs may find them their destiny tomorrow. And some of them, based on maybe some activities or sports, they may be richer than even some that even are educationally sound.
I did mention earlier, apart from football fields, which not even all public schools do have a football field. So apart from it, no any other sporting facilities are present in most public schools in the FCT. And I must tell you that going to school is not learning academics alone. You have to learn other skills. You have to learn other things. And playing football is very, 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 very important. For instance, I saw this involving in other sporting activities is very, very important. Growing up in the 60s and in the 70s and in the late 90s and up to 2000, you could see how Nigerian athletes made the country very proud. You can talk about a lot of boxers like Obinna Nwankpa. You can talk about a lot of athletes like Falilat Ogunkoya, Mary Onyale, Chioma Ajunwa, who won Nigeria's first Olympic gold medal. The Sunday Bada, the Ezinwa brothers, and so many of them, they had a career out of their academics, and they did not only make themselves proud, but they also made the country proud. So it is very important that public schools have sporting activities, not just football pitch alone. We had the students maybe during break just go around the pitch, kick one ball to the other. It doesn't really make any sense. I think it's of utmost importance that public schools consider putting in place sporting activities, not just football alone, not only football pitch, volleyball, basketball, athletics, track and field, table tennis, long tennis, very, very important. I remember growing up, we had access to some of these things. For instance, I represented my school in volleyball, and I was volleyball captain, and I was used to playing football as well. I was good in almost all the sports, badminton, handball. So long as I have time, I will represent my school in any of these sporting activities, and I was doing very well with my academics as well. So it's good to combine sporting activities and academics.
Yana ɗaya daga cikin abin da ba a sani ba na daga tsarin ayyukan ilimin makarantun gwamnati a babban birnin tarayyar Najeriya. Akwai nauyi ko kuma ƙalubalen da ya rataya a wuyan malamai, ɗalibai da su kansu yara ƙanana masu koyon ilimi a cikin makarantun gwamnati ta babban birnin tarayyar Najeriya. Shirin Lips and Worms ta AD4TV Radio ya bankaɗo muku wasu muhimman ababe a cikin tsarin shirin makarantun gwamnati ta babban birnin tarayya, wanda zai rika kawo muku su a cikin shirin Lips and Worms a hukumance, inda shirin zai bi diddigi ya kawo muku cikakken rahotanni da gamsassun bayanai wanda zai amfane ku. Sai ku kasance da mu don kallo da kuma sauraron wannan shirin na Lips and Worms a gidan rediyo da talabijin mallakan AD, wato AD4TV Radio. Shine na ɗaya wajen bayar da ingantattu kuma sahihan labarai na gaskiya. Sai ku kasance tare da mu a koda wani lokaci. Ba mu da na biyu wajen bankaɗo sahihai kuma ingantattun labarai. Sai kun zo.
Government have failed woefully in that aspect. Like I have friends that they have a contract with FIFA. All of them are complaining based on this. During the days of Okocha School in Nike Grammar School, National Grammar School Nike in Enugu, Okocha was picked during sporting events, school sporting events. And all these things, what they normally do is FCT and other states, after competing, the best school will come out, and the best school in the state will come out and compete with other schools. After competing with other schools, the first and the second, they will pick the best players through that place. They can represent us on the 17, on the 20, but such thing doesn't happen anymore.
Our respondents further speak to the impact of the dearth of sport amenities in public schools in the FCT on socio, academic and cognitive growth of a child. They highlighted sport as an essential co-curricular activities that teaches learners important lessons of life.
It's a total package. So if a child is glued to just watching TV, pressing phone, and that is it, what do you want the child to develop? I was talking to my own children the other day, and I talked to them about how I used to play on the floor. My daughter, I'm sorry to say, my own child was saying, "Oh, is that how Obono is made? Is it from a tree? Where is the tree?" So if you don't give children that early opportunity to know what is in the environment, to know how things are done, to understand the essence of green vegetation and the essence of natural air and physical air, they will never learn it. And that's why at 40, they're highly diabetic, everybody is sick. We have our old grandparents, some of them were up to 90, no diabetes, no obesity, nothing. Because we don't do physical exercise anymore.
It have social impacts on them. Why, if you look at these days that some people will not even mind if they are playing football, most of, let's say, foreign football playing, they will even mind of not eating. They will make sure that they watch those football. So for we to say, like now in sporting in our country today, where it's not being recognized as anything. So it is from the foundation. If we have those in public school and they even take it as serious, I believe all those foreign footballs and foreign plays that they used to watch, Nigeria could be a better place too, that so many of us can also do and also encourage our children to do that.
It has a lot of effects on grassroots sporting talent hunting. Let me even share this story with you. If you remember or recall very well, in 2001, 2002 thereabout, when the then sports minister in Nigeria, Sunday Dare, reintroduced the principal cup, do you know that despite the number of public schools in the FCT, none of them was able to present the FCT? It was a football academy owned by an individual, a private entity, Fosler Academy, that represented the FCT. And Fosler Academy did not only represent the FCT, but went on to win the Principal Cup that was coordinated and saddled with the responsibility by the Nigeria School Sports Federation. You can imagine, out of so many public schools in the FCT, when it came to one that would represent or could represent the FCT in National Principal Cup, it was a football academy owned by an individual, a private individual, that had that representation. It's a big slap on public schools in the FCT. I think things need to be done differently. Without students being involved in physical activities like sports, their mental ability reduces. They will not remain focused because they are no longer agile. They are not physically fit. And so it is very important that school administrators, school proprietors, school owners, either government or individual that decide to build a school to donate to the public, they should always have it in mind that it is very important to have sporting facilities on the school, because it also helps improve the students' mental well-being and help the students perform very well, not during exams alone, but while representing the school as well.
The thing is that there's a popular saying that all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So the thing is, for students, for a student to actually do well, not just in school, not just in academics, in life in general. You need a blend of academics and other things and extracurricular activities, and that is where sports comes into place. For private schools now, apart from academic activities, some of them actually invest a lot in music and sports. So when there's a healthy balance of academics and extracurricular activities, it actually helps in the development of the brain. As a student, you need a blend of all these activities, academic activities and extracurricular activities, because the thing is that when all these things come into place, it ensures that you're not raising pupils who are going to be socially awkward. You're raising pupils who are going to be, confident. You're raising pupils who can do quite a number of things. For instance, a child that is being introduced to chess at an early stage, the mental cognizance, this child is able to, the mental capacity is developed in such a way that is much more better compared to a child that doesn't have any idea of chess at all.
A sports analyst identified ill mindset of school administrators and negligence of sport activities as part of overall development of pupils and students in school.
I don't think budgeting is the issue. Most public schools in the FCT, I think, are being owned by government, and I don't think that government will not consider having budget for these schools. It's very, very important. For instance, in some of the public schools that my son has been to, Federal Government College Rubochi, for instance, and now that he's in Kwali, you can imagine that it was even better in Federal Government College Rubochi because they had access to other sporting facilities. Students had access to a volleyball field where they could at least engage in that activities. But in Kwali, the situation seems to be very different. When I asked my son what is he actually involved in to keep himself mentally and physically fit, he told me that once in a while, just once in a week, that they do go out to kick football. You can imagine. I remember in my days, it wasn't like that. You could go out every evening. It was a boarding school. After your afternoon prep, by 4 p.m., you are out onto the pitch and you go to a particular sporting events field that of your interest. If it is volleyball, you go and play. Badminton, you play. We even had a basketball field in those days, in early 90s. So I am surprised, although, like I did mention earlier, population increase could also be a factor, but no matter what, Nigeria is very big and we have a lot of landmass. So having access to sporting facilities in schools should not be an issue. So budgeting, I don't think, is the issue. It is, to me, it's the ill mindset of the school coordinators or administrators, those who are in charge of the school, because I know most public schools in FCT are being owned by the federal government and the FCT administration. So I don't think they will build schools and will not make budget provision for sporting facilities.
These respondents, however, advocate for robust investment in infrastructure of schools in the local government area councils, which includes better consideration for sport amenities for FCT public schools as part of enabling environment that inspire, educate, and empower future generations.
The way forward is for school administrators, school owners, public school owners to have a rethink and start considering putting on ground sporting facilities for students, because like I did mention earlier, you go to school and you learn other skills in school apart from academics. You can rise up to be a star to represent not just your school but your country and make them very proud in international sporting events. So it is very, very important that school owners consider this and put in place sporting facilities. Very, very important, because schools, secondary schools, are grounds for talent hunts. And so when you have those who are interested in going out there to spend money on individuals who could rise to become stars to represent their country and their state tomorrow, and you do not have the means to go about that, then the aim is already defeated. So please, it's very, very important that public school owners consider having public schools in place.
Yes, I'm going to say yes, because like I said earlier, as a student, you need a blend of all these activities, academic activities, and extracurricular activities, because the thing is that when all these things come into place, it ensures that you're not raising pupils who are going to be socially awkward. You're raising pupils who are going to be confident. You're raising pupils who can do quite a number of things. For instance, a child that is being introduced to chess at an early stage, the mental cognizance, this child is able to, the mental capacity is developed in such a way that is much more better compared to a child that doesn't have any idea of chess at all.